what a fairy tale chateau this is. If ever you had a sort of archetypical French chateau with turrets and windows and passageways and gardens, well, this is it. I wonder what we'll find on the inside. Let's go and have a look.
De 1660 à 1685, Louis XIV devient de 8 fois à Chambord pour les séjours de 3 semaines.
The interior of Chambord is a mesmerising display of pictures and all sorts of historical pictures depicting different aspects of the history of Chambord. From the introductory film, it became apparent that one of the initial influences on the design of Chambord was no less than Leonardo da Vinci. But there's a certain amount of enigma about how the final design came into place. And at various times in the history of Chambord, the building has been neglected and rebuilt to what it is today. This double helix staircase right at the centre of the chateau in Chambord is so perfectly designed, it says on the display boards, that it raises the suggestion that it was Leonardo da Vinci himself who contributed to its design. From the staircase you get rooms going off in all directions. There's Chambord in that apparent net. Quite what that means, I don't know. And notice also the very ornate roofs that you can see. I hope you can hear this because the noise is considerable. There's no soundproofing. Well, the rather splendid throne room in Chambord, but it looks quite a lonely place to me. What do you think? This is a Polish king who was in France in exile in the 18th century, Stanislas Leszczynski, excuse my pronunciation, who stayed at Chambord for a while. But when the gardens that are very beautiful outside were then a swamp, the place became infested with mosquitoes, and he was glad to leave. This is part of the wing that was added later to the central section of the chateau. And it's where they had their various residences. So I think when Louis XIV was here, this is where he stayed. This is the chapel at Chambord, and it's evidently the biggest room in the palace. And it was added a little bit later than the main central courtyard area, but very splendid all the same. Lots of the rooms are sparsely furnished, but here's a little room that's got some of the furniture in it. I don't suppose it's all original though. The second floor of Chambord is like a very fancy art gallery, and you get some really strange and weird rooms in it. The tiles that apparently are multicoloured are not, because we seem to be standing on a vinyl rather than on real tiles. And there's this carpet that goes all around the exterior of this room. What it all means is slightly beyond me. But the whole of Chambord is a mesmerising collection of room after room, and although many of the exterior parts of the building are circular, all the rooms inside are rectangular. Work that out. Well, I wonder what this might be. It seems like a Chambord caught in a net with a lot of dogs. Well, these two paintings look a little bit like Noah's Ark. Well, despite the rain, you get a reasonable impression here of what the formal French gardens were like. And they're very beautiful indeed. And despite the rain, we'll go outside and have a view of that a little later. Well, here we are on the roof of Chambord with its long avenues, and it's raining, so I'm not sure how long we're going to be out here. In fact, Marion's not looking very enthusiastic, and that central staircase in the middle of the donjon, as they call it here in Chambord. This is where it comes to, and you can still go up it, but quite where you get to, I'm not sure. When you get to the top of the second floor, it might be the third, lost count, you get some lovely views of the countryside. And here's some sort of canal. Whether it's connected to the Loire or not, I'm not sure. But it looks very impressive, doesn't it? Marian's just said to me she thinks the exterior of Chambord is amazing and it's been well kept. Well, it really is rather interesting to come to. I thought we could go up that spiral staircase, but you come to a barrier very soon. So all one can do is look and imagine. Well, when it comes to a good view of the gardens, the formal gardens, there's not much that can beat this. We're on the third floor of Chambord in the outdoor viewing area, and it is just amazing. I would encourage anyone who, if you're considering coming here, to come and have a look at Chambord. The only thing is, rather unlike the National Trust, there is no general sense you go this way round the building. It's just a mesmerising arrangement of different rooms, corridors, galleries that you just wander around at your leisure. And what sense you make of them depends entirely to you. So don't expect to come and have a nice ordered package of a visit. It really is rather in your hands how you go around the building. Well, this is Chambord in the rain, and I'm standing outside this wonderful fantasy chateau that was started in about 1519 and took most of the rest of the 16th century to complete. And there we have the quarter in which the chapel is placed, and there we have the extension, or the wing as they call it, the l'aile in French, where the royal quarters were. And then in a sort of quadrilateral sort of pattern you have this main section of the palace, and I've had the great advantage of looking all around it, and it really is very impressive. So do come. There's the third floor viewing area that we were on just a little while ago, and if I pan out, you can see how that then relates to the chateau as a whole. Well, there's a little cafe in Chambord, but when you go inside, it probably has 20 seats. And for this huge, massive, great chateau with all these crowds, it's totally inadequate. So we're going to have to leave and find somewhere else to go. Similarly, if you're a gent here, going to the facilities is pretty straightforward, but for the ladies there was a great long queue. Well, Chambord, like any other place, has got the same sorts of grotto shops that every big stately home has, and I'm walking straight through. That's how enticing they are to me. The entry and exit to Chambord has a great number of cafes. In this wet weather, sitting outside is not really an option. And if you want to sit inside, they want to give you lunch. And we spent the morning there and coming out at 12 noon, but all we want is a coffee because we had a huge breakfast. So that's it, I'm afraid. Hope you've enjoyed the video.